Hello, everyone. Today I'll be presenting my final project of building a barndominium. So, there's a little introduction here. I just wanted to add in some pictures to give you a understanding of kind of what a barndominium is. Basically, it is a large structure, kind of shaped to look like a barn, built with cheaper materials such as metal sidings, metal roofing, and a lot of wood for the exterior as well as interior. On the left-hand side here, this is kind of what I wanted to model my project around, a large garage space with a two-story home and a wraparound porch that kind of has a rustic appeal. If you look over to the far right-hand side, this is kind of the look of the interior that we were going for within this project, having a rustic yet modern feel with an open concept. The picture in the middle here is just kind of an example of the area. It's in a very rural area. You can see there's a lot of open land around it, a lot of wooded area. So this is kind of the idea that we should be looking for in this project. So, going over the project charter here, as I mentioned already, a rustic home with modern style, ample storage space for the customers' vehicles, their side by sides, four wheelers, any other kind of side projects they may have that they want to take care of, or maybe even in home gym. So, design features again, mentioned this already, two stories, wraparound porch, and a large garage to fit all their essentials. Now, let's talk about the budget and timeline here. So, we have a $600,000 budget, and it's going to be over a 14-month timeline. So the $600,000 budget is in place to hopefully be under budget due to the fact of just kind of we want to make sure that we have enough money to cover for any kind of risks that may happen or any kind of setbacks. Same thing with the 14-month timeline. A longer timeline kind of adds in for more timing, especially where the location that this building is going to be put in. It's going to be put in the Pennsylvania area, which has all four seasons. So there could be rain delays, winter delays, even maybe under extreme circumstances, heat delays. So having this longer timeline will kind of give more playing room as well as a larger budget. However, the idea is to try and be under budget and also under the timeline. However, the timeline seems to be more concrete than the budget. The budget hopefully will be below. Here we have just a little overview of what our uh, kind of timeline is looking like here. So finalizing the contract with the contractor and preparing and approving the detailed project plan, as well as beginning the initial architectural designs, is all going to be completed within month one. Completing the initial design check and feedback is done in month two. Finalizing the architectural structure and designs will be done in month three. Month four, we will be taking care of securing all necessary permits and approvals and preparing the construction site. Month five will begin and complete the foundation of or the foundation construction, so that will be done with concrete. Month six will be taking care of completing the framing of the structure. Month seven, installing roofing and completing the exterior shell. Month eight is installing plumbing and electrical systems such as HVAC and other items of that nature. Month nine will be constructing interior walls and interior insulation. 10 will be beginning the interior finishes, like putting up the drywall, doing the flooring. And then month 11, we'll be taking care of finishing the painting of the interior, as well as installing any kind of lighting fixtures or any fixtures of that nature, such as a fireplace. Also, taking care of the landscaping in the outdoor area will also be started in month 11. Testing the electrical systems, the HVAC, and the plumbing will all be completed in month 12, so we can kind of have ample time to see if there's any issues or any compliance issues to take care of that before the project's handed over. Month 13 here, we'll be conducting a thorough inspection and addressing any issues, resolving any punch list items and final adjustments, and obtaining the final inspection approval and occupancy certification. And finally, in month 14 is the projected handover timeline for the customer. So now let's kind of go over the project proposal a little bit. So this project should be taking care of customer needs such as a rural home and ample space to store vehicles as well as an open concept home. The assumption and scope will be Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. work time. Deliverables will be creating blueprints, securing financing, and building the barndominium itself. And the benefits is a rural home. I mean, obviously, the homeowner wants something kind of rural, something that they're excluded away from the general public, have able maybe be able to hunt, again, store their vehicles, or just have a secluded life and with their family. The quality control plan. So, kind of where we're talking about quality control plan, what we're looking for here is we should be planning or a plan that ensures the project meets these requirements, the safety, quality, and compliance standards, so ensuring the home is safe, the quality of the building is good, and that any compliance or compliance standards are met. Corrective actions such as safety violations and material imperfections. If there are any safety violations, then the contractor will be talked to and potentially even fired and replaced. If there are any material imperfections, we will not be using those materials. We'll be getting a refund for those materials and also getting good materials to use for this home. The quality tools and techniques. So we'll be doing monthly audits to ensure that this schedule is on track. The milestone inspections. So anything that's put up, such as the framing, the foundation, roofing, any of that nature will all be taken care of and inspected before moving on to the next step, as well as the system testing, such as the electrical, HVAC, and plumbing. Ensuring all of those electrical lines are in place are very important, so there's not an electrical fire. Ensuring the plumbing lines are good so that there isn't any leakage, and then of course the HVAC units are in place and up or are up to standard, so that there are ample airflow and heating and cooling. So next we have the work breakdown structure that's indentured here. So as you can see, we have the task name, who it's assigned to, and the deliverables. We can just go over the bolded ones, which is pretty much the main project before a next one can happen. So the project planning and design, as we mentioned, this is kind of getting any contracts together with the contractors, approving any designs, architectural designs. And then next is permitting and site preparation. So this is securing all the permits necessary, leveling out the site so that we can actually start putting up the foundation and the building itself. Next is the foundation construction, which, as it stands for, is pretty much preparing and installing the foundation. Next is the structural framing. So this is putting up the wooden framing of the barn dominium that includes the garage as well as the two-story home. The roofing and exterior shell. So next is actually putting up the roof, and then once that roof is completed, well, actually during the roofing completion, the metal exterior shell will also be put on too. So then we have a full exterior building. Next will be system installation. So that is the plumbing, HVAC, and electrical systems, as well as conducting inspections. Same thing with all of these after permitting and site preparation. There will be a inspection for each one of these phases, just to keep that in mind. Next is the interior construction. So building up interior walls, framing out the different bedrooms. That's all going to be done in this stage. Um, as well as painting the walls, as well as hanging up the lighting fixtures, all of that nature. Next is the exterior and landscaping. So any kind of driveway, concrete patios, walkways, landscaping itself, that will all be completed in this phase. Next is the final inspection and testing, ensuring all of the different systems are up to date and working, ensuring the roof is up and fine, ensuring the exterior shell is good. And then finally, once all of these have completed their inspection, the final adjustments and handover will be done and given to the customer within that 14-month time frame. So there's 10 major parts with then subdivisions here. And as you can see, this on the or in the middle column here, this is who each project is assigned to, the project manager making up most of this work. And we'll be discussing that in a little bit. So next is kind of more of the work breakdown structure diagram. So this shows from start to finish what has to happen, what can be done together, what can't be done together, and what needs to wait until another thing is done. So kind of just like what we went over already. Next is the responsibility assignment matrix. So again, on the left-hand side here, we can see the project and what each one has. And then in the next columns over, we can see the primary worker as well as the secondary and supportive task workers. So the project manager holds a lot of the first and last tasks. While as we go farther into the project, we can see kind of the different groups will have different or excuse me, the different task will have a different group as their primary person, as well as different sub people. Next is a network diagram, very similar to the work breakdown structure as we already discussed, because this is a very kind of concrete line. Next, we have the project schedule Gantt chart. So this is just kind of a different look at how this project will be done, going from top to down here. To fit it all into one page, on the left from the left is the top, and then the next one over is then would be below the far left, and then so on and so forth here. And the red are the critical tasks that need to be done to ensure this project can be delivered on time. Next is our resource usage sheet. So as I mentioned earlier, we can kind of see who has the most work and kind of hour wise. So as you can see, the project manager has 560 hours allotted to them, and this will kind of go into their wage as we go on. So project manager has the highest amount, as well as securing all necessary permits and approvals. That is another big resource usage that we'll have to use. And on the far right hand side here, we can see all the different resources that we'll be using, such as the traveling costs, the concrete materials, roofing materials, framing materials, lumber, paint and finish, permits, and design documentation. Next, as we go over, we can see the estimated costs here. So all these different numbers kind of show the regular wage, the estimated regular hours, the overtime wage, and the estimated overtime hours. And then on the far right hand side of that first sheet, you can see the estimated total for each of the workers. So for each of the contractors, workers, and that nature, it's going to come out to about $130,000, while the materials is going to be costing more, about $300,000, for a total of close to $431,000 as an estimated cost, which should be way under budget comparatively to the $600,000 budget that we have originally. Finally, we have the risk register here. So the risk register kind of breaks down the likelihood of the occurrence of a risk and the degree of impact. So most of these degree impacts will be high, considering that this task is very, or excuse me, this project is very dependent on one task being finished before another one can start, right? So none of these are really high likelihood. However, we do have a couple medium ones. The main one that I would like to mention is weather delays during the exterior work, because that would really delay back time. And that's something I mentioned in the introduction that we have to look out for, because if there are any wet weather delays, then obviously the team cannot work and continue the project. So that is something to kind of keep in mind whenever we are doing this. However, this is the risk register, and then any kind of response plans that we may have here. So another risk that I would like to point out here is the permits taking longer than expected. So we would, if this were to happen, and this is a high likelihood because permits always take longer than expected, we would try to expedite application process or use an alternative approach to try and get past this permit so we can start building, because the very first task group here is getting the contracts and the permits, which are going to be some of the hardest things to acquire just because they take so long. So, as a final overview of this project, we will be trying to build a modern and rustic barn dominium with an overall budget of $600,000 and a 14-month timeline. We will be trying to ensure the adherence of safety, as well as keeping up with the design that the architect has gone with, as well as the customer's vision. And then ensuring the project is completed on time is an evaluation criteria that we would like to look for, as well as it staying within or below the budget. So overall, I'd just like to mention that this presents a comprehensive plan to ensure a high quality and budget focused barn dominium project that will be a very satisfying project for the homeowner to have once it is completed. Thank you.